So welcome back everyone, Mike here. It's kind of a cold and damp morning here in Pennsylvania. It's actually trying to snow a little bit right now. But this morning I'm trying to get a little better organized because here's what happens. You know, you're in a hurry and you have the dump trailer behind the truck. Well, you're done with it, and instead of putting it in the right spot, you just drop it somewhere. And you're like, oh, I'll get that later. Well, then a day or two later, you're bringing some saw logs out of the woods or something, and you realize the dump trailer is in the way to where you put the saw logs. So you just drop the saw logs off and be like, I'll get them tomorrow. And then a day or two later, you're gonna go cut and split some firewood, and you realize the saw logs are in the way and everything's just all out of whack. So this morning, I'm just kind of getting everything back to where it should be. And then next on the agenda, I'm gonna cut some firewood. I need to get the conveyor. It's over at neighbor Cliff's place, get it over here. And I'm just trying to get set up for the big holiday break. It's about a week, this week of work. I don't even work a full week, and I'm off for like 2 weeks. So depending on the weather, you know, if it's nice and cold and frozen, you can get out in the woods and do something. But if not, I'm kind of confined down to the yard. So I want to have some saw logs and a bunch of firewood down there to split and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm working on today. And I also, here later on, I want to talk a little bit about a building. Actually, buildings, kind of what my plans are for that. We have some things in the works, and we're going to move forward on that, or at least in that direction. So, and also, if you have a sawmill, you know, shoot me a picture of your setup, you know, what type of building you have it in, how you do things. outdoorswiththemorgans@gmail.com. But there's a whole lot to talk about, and I'll kind of go over my reasoning behind, you know, what I'm thinking. Well, the sun's starting to come out, but that's a pretty nice jag of firewood right there. That's a mix of maple, cherry, and the big stuff here is red oak. And I know I've mentioned this before a bunch of times, but this MS-261, I think it is the perfect firewood saw. You know, if you're cutting stuff like 20 inches in diameter and less in hardwoods, things like that, it's a really fast saw and it's so light. Works out really well. But yeah, that's probably, I don't know, 1.25 cords of wood right there, something like that. Here in a little bit, I'll go get the conveyor over at Neighbor Cliff's, bring it over, and then probably bring the splitter down tomorrow and split this up. Then over Christmas, just keep hauling in rounds and splitting and hauling in rounds and splitting, and we should be able to make a lot of wood in a hurry. So at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I'm looking into building a nice building, you know, or maybe 2 buildings. And before I tell you about that, I want to tell you a little story. Years ago, when we built our house, that would have been, I don't even know now, 25, 28 years ago, something like that. We built what we could afford. Actually, we built what we could barely afford at the time. And it worked out well. It wasn't exactly the house that I wanted or I thought we needed. We had a pretty big family, but it worked out really well, and it's a nice house. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I built what we could afford. Well, now I'm at the point in my life, I'm 53 years old, so I kind of have the finish line in sight, you know what I mean? So I don't want to do that again. And what I mean is, I want to build the building that is exactly what I want, for everything that I need and for our lifestyle and what I like to do. So I want a nice wood shop, I want a big garage. Right now I have 2 garages. I have one here at our place, one down at the brick house. We rent that to our son Levi and Kate, but it's a real big garage down there, so some additional storage down there. Now, all the tractor attachments are sitting outside. Right now the sawmill's under a tarp. Not perfect, I know that, but I don't want to just throw something together just to be like, there I have a building. So what I was thinking about doing, I was considering building like just a 16 by 48 with a shed roof on it, just to put the sawmill in, pour a concrete slab. And then I got to talking to Melissa's uncle. If you saw the last video, I was down at his place. Very knowledgeable guy. And he said, you know, why don't you put up a 36 by like 24 and use 36-foot trusses, and then I could put the mill on the gable end, have plenty of room. Because the way I was looking at doing it was building something and using like those LVL beams to get a 20-foot opening, but he had a much better idea. But even that, you know, that's going to get the mill inside, but it's still not what I need. But what I'm thinking is to go ahead and put something like that up here soon, and I may have to get somebody to at least get it framed up, get the roof on, and then do just 3 sides and some of the wood we have here on the property. It's kind of what I'm looking for the mill. And then maybe next spring or summer, we'll see how things go. Build the building that I really want. And I'm looking at a shop, big garage, maybe like a game room and a gym for Melissa and the kids, and something like that. Something really nice to kind of fit our lifestyle and what we like to do and what we need to do. And so that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. I learned a lesson there years ago. You know, I built the house, and don't get me wrong, it worked out fantastic. We put all our money, what little we had, into this property, and a big loan. And at this point, I don't want a big loan to build a building for just kind of screwing around here on the property, dealing with firewood and sawing lumber and things like that. And I mentioned a long time ago, several months ago, you know, the goal here is I'm kind of setting myself up for a early retirement. And I don't know how early that would be. I don't want to work. I love my job. It's a great job. But I don't want to work, I don't want to be in a pickup truck every day driving all over the place when I'm 60 years old. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of trying to get everything in place, so at some point, you know, I'm going to do some side jobs. I've always done side jobs. Sell some lumber, sell some firewood. We'll sell like turning blanks. I mean, really, once you have everything in place, the opportunities are endless. And YouTube, I mean, we make money on YouTube, and definitely not quit your job money, but all those little things put together, it should work out pretty well. So the point of this rambling is, a lot of people say, you need this, you should do that, you need this. Of course, I know I need a building. Just didn't jump into anything until I can do exactly what I want. And I don't want a big loan. I'm not going to borrow a bunch of money to build a building. That's just not going to happen. But things are going pretty well. I got a great job. And so I'm thinking, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build something just to get the sawmill into it. And that way I can be sawing lumber, finish that building out. And then once I build the big one in the spring or in the summer, you know, if somebody's going to do that, I'll do all the inside work. I'd like to put maybe a big shed roof on one side and move the sawmill up there. And then the one that I'm going to build now, you know, could use that for attachments or firewood or really anything like that, just something with a roof over it. So that's kind of the plan that I'm working on right now. It all takes money, like I said, and things are going well. We've been saving for a long time for this, but I think that's the plan that I want to stick with. You know, as you get older, you don't want to make the wrong decision, you know what I mean? And we've been thinking back and forth what we want to do. We even considered maybe building another house back in the woods further, something like that. I just don't think that's in the cards or that's what's needed. I like this area right here, and it's something to think about. When you buy a piece of property, and say you're younger, you're in your 30s or something. We were like, I was probably 25 when I bought this place. You know, try to plan down the road, because we're in a position right now, you know, anybody else, if you wanted to upgrade your house or do something, we'd just sell our place and go buy another one. But I like the property. I'm not going to do that. And even if we were to build another place, I don't want somebody else living right here. I've got this whole yard set up, the whole trail system. I have everything the way I want it, except I need a big building, and that's next on the agenda. But anyway, I hope that all makes sense. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to try to find somebody. I've been talking to a few contractors. Everybody's so busy around here right now. But just getting something put up to get the mill into. I was thinking even trying to do it over Christmas, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And but yeah, it should work out pretty good. But I'm really looking forward to the, I guess they call them like hobby garages. Is that what they call that? Where you're not really making a living out of it, but everything you want to do is in one place. That's kind of the end goal here for what we need. But anyway, that is the plan. I hope that makes sense. And I know I was rambling there for a bit. But yeah, so next on the agenda after this, I think I'm going to go get the conveyor over at Neighbor Cliff's, get set up to split some wood. Boy, we're going to sell a lot of wood next year. We really are. I don't know how many cords I got. I'm looking over there now, probably 16 basketfuls. I don't know, I probably got 20 some cords of wood cut and split right now. And I'd like to get to 50 by spring, and I think that's doable. We have so much out in the woods right now from when I was building the trails. And the Wallenstein skidding winch, game changer right there. It opens up so many more possibilities. And so hopefully we get some good frozen solid cold winter and get a bunch of wood out of the woods. That would be great. I love doing that, I really do. But I think that's about it. So like I always say, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button, click subscribe, and share them with your friends. Thanks.